Hello viewers, welcome to My India, a show that brings the latest updates about India's rich culture, ethnic diversity and growing economy. I'm your host Swati Kundra. Jammu and Kashmir is a melting pot of various cultures. The colorful and rich lifestyle of Ladakh is eye-catching and truly unique. This is what draws people from all over India and the world to witness this remote yet stunning destination. Let's take a look at the vibrant festival of Phayang Monastery, which was recently celebrated.
Over the years, writers and travelers have been unable to resist employing the term Shangri-La to describe the remote land of Ladakh in northern India. Foreign tourists and local pilgrims flocked to Jammu and Kashmir's Ladakh district to observe the two-day annual religious festival of Phayang Monastery recently. The name Phayang was derived from Gang Gongpo, that means the Blue Mountain, which is situated behind the monastery. Established in 1515, the monastery was offered to a monastic community that paved the way for the foundation of Digung teachings in Ladakh. Drigung Kyabgon Chetsang Rinpoche presided over the two-day religious festival.
ये मेला हर महीने इसी महीने में हर साल इसी महीने में लगते हैं और ये मेला से पहले पूर्व हमारे यहाँ के जो फ्यांग मोनास्ट्री की भिक्षु संघ लामा लोग कई दिनों से यहाँ विश्व शांति के लिए और लद्दाख के शांति के लिए और आज के युग में विश्व में जो इस तरह दुर्घट चल रहा है उसकी विश्व शांति के लिए हम पूजा चल रहा है.
The main attraction of the festival was a sacred mask dance or shams, performed by the monks wearing colorful costumes and masks of different idols of gods. They perform mimes representing various aspects of the religion, such as the progress of the individual soul and its purification, or the triumph of good over evil.
We have just arrived to Ladakh yesterday. I'm here with my family, with my wife and 3 kids. And this is the first thing that we've come to see. And it's amazing so far seeing all these monks and all these rituals and all the dances going on. It's great also because I was in a similar festival 20 years ago in Lamayuru, and it brings very fond memories.
I've been here just only a couple of hours. We just came here this morning, and I'm really enjoying the festival. It's very nice to see this because we don't have that in our country, and it's very good to see how they dance and what they do and what that means for them, because in our country, what I said, we don't have it. So it's very nice to have a wonder how you celebrate kind of things and telling stories to all the people.
Dringumpa monastic dynasty's founder, Skabje Jigten Gombo, was regarded as a very significant person. A thangka has been erected in his memory, which is the present site of the famous Phayang Sedup festival. This is a very rare sighting for the followers, as it is only done 3 times during 12 years.
लोगों इसके दर्शन करके इस तरह कोई दूसरी मेला से नहीं, ये देवी देवताओं को ये भगवान के ये दर्शन करके लोगों अपना तरह के ये पूरे साल के लिए दुआ करके अपने अपने घरों में श्रद्धा लेकर लौटता है. ये एक धार्मिक श्रद्धा से यहाँ दर्शन करता है.
The splendor and cheerfulness witnessed during the festival is infectious. Such festivals showcase the rich culture and heritage of our country.
The core of India's identity lies in the various communities and backgrounds coexisting in complete harmony. In a school of Coimbatore, 700 students gathered to chant Vedic hymns in an attempt to set a world record, regardless of their religion. Let's take a look at this uplifting story.
In a thriving multi-ethnic society like India, people happily embrace each other's culture. Nearly 700 girl students in India's southern city of Coimbatore simultaneously chanted Vedic hymns for 2 hours in a bid to set a world record. The students of a private school were from different religions, Hindus, Christians and Muslims, and undertook the exercise to also send out a message of communal harmony. The girls chanted the Medha Suktam hymn with strings of beads in their hands for 2 hours continuously.
And I'm normally from a Christian religion. We normally read Bibles for regularly, but partially we also have songs. But after coming to this school, I have been chanting more mantras daily even, and we have learned many slokas. Then this is one record which is held in our school about the chanting of chanting a sloka simultaneously by more number of people. And I don't feel any partial religion or creed in the school because we all have been gathered from our childhood days, and we all know how we are, and we don't say about any other religions. We all chanted together and we also spend our time together.
The four Vedas are a collection of hymns and religious texts that originated in India sometime around 1000 BC. These form the foremost sacred texts in Hinduism. Vedic hymns are known to boost one's mental energy and are an important aspect of Hindu spirituality. Many non-Hindus come to participate as they wanted to better their mental health so as to improve in studies.
நான் வந்து முஸ்லீம் ரிலீஜன் இங்கே இன்ஸ்டிடியூட்டில் இருக்கவங்கெல்லாம் நான் இதை பண்ணால் மெமரி பவர் இன்க்ரீஸ் ஆகும் அப்படின்னு சொல்கிறாங்க, அதனால நாங்கள் சாண்ட் பண்ணுறோம். சந்தோபியோ யமதா சம்பபூவ சமேந்திரோ மேதயா ஸ்ப்ரணோதோ அமுதஸ்ய தேவதாரணோ பூயாசம் ஷரீரம் மே விதர்ஷனம் சித்வா மே மதுமத்தமா கர்ணாப்யாம்பூரி விஸ்ருவம் ब्रह्मण कोशोषि में दया पीता सुधम में गोपाय ओम शांति 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 ही.
Now let's take a quick look at some development stories from around the country.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Russian President Vladimir Putin jointly commissioned the first unit of Kudankulam Nuclear Power Plant or KKNPP on August 10. Modi in New Delhi and Putin in Moscow were joined on video conference by Chief Minister of Tamil Nadu Jayalalitha.
In our journey of cooperation, we plan to build a series of bigger nuclear power plants.
Unit 2 in Kudankulam attained criticality on July 10 and is planned to be connected to the grid in August. Work is underway on the 3rd and 4th units as well. An engineering student in India's southern Hyderabad city has invented an automated air-to-water machine that can produce around 2 liters of water per hour. Though such machines have been made in the past, what sets the 22-year-old Jawad Patel's dewdrop aside is its technology that ensures generation of safe drinking water. The gadget, which runs on solar energy, has a computerized sensor that provides the user with information about moisture content in the atmosphere. Patel is hoping that the Indian government will support his product, which he believes is a great leap towards resolving the huge water crisis in the country.
An international mega exhibition of minerals, metals and metallurgy materials attracted exhibitors and visitors from around the world in capital New Delhi. There was keen interest among foreign visitors who wanted to be part of the Indian steel industry's growth story. Join us to hear more about the turnaround by this sector.
In an era of globalization and cutthroat competition, the Indian steel industry has touched new heights, riding high on the resurgent economy and rising demand. The 11th edition of the Minerals, Metals, Metallurgy and Materials exhibition organized in New Delhi recently saw a huge draw. Co-sponsored by 8 ministries of the Government of India, the exhibition attracted about 300 exhibitors and 15,000 trade visitors from around 35 countries.
11th edition, it's growing. We have 25% more visitors like last time. At this point of time, we expect more visitors. We enlarged our amount of the participating countries. So it's running great. It's really running great, better than we expected actually.
India is the world's 3rd largest producer of crude steel and is expected to become the 2nd largest producer by the end of 2016. The growth in the Indian steel sector has been driven by domestic availability of raw materials such as iron ore and cost-effective labor. The sector has also been a major contributor to the country's manufacturing output. In the 3-day event, foreign exhibitors and consumers from around the world were impressed with the growth of steel industry in India and were eager to explore the market.
We have been here about a week and attended the international exhibition. We are very glad for this place. And at this time, we meet a very good time and a lot of good friends.
This organization is good, and I think everything is well organized. But I want the environment to be promoted. So I think it's good.
The Indian steel industry is very modern and boasts of state-of-the-art steel mills. Over the years, the sector has upgraded older plants and achieved higher energy efficiency levels. India's crude steel production grew by 4.9% in May 2016. Total steel production in the country is expected to rise by 7% by the end of 2016. Iran has evinced keen interest in strengthening ties with India in the steel and mine sector. The Government of India is aiming to scale up steel production in the country to 300 million tons by 2025 from about 90 million tons in 2015 and 16. According to the data released by Department of Industrial Policy and Promotion, the Indian metallurgical industries attracted FDI to the tune of $8.89 billion in the period between April 2000 to March 2016.
So, lot of cranes which have been now exported to Middle East, to Southeast Asia are now being manufactured in Pune. So we are very much on that Make India concept.
So do you think the overall atmosphere is now more positive when it comes to government support and authorities?
Yes. Things have been improving. In the recent past, people say that steel industry has almost become still, STILL. But now it's gradually it is improving. There are positive signs are there. Lot of new inquiries are coming.
We are making in India from last 10 years. We have assembly plant in Pune, which serves the Indian market as well as neighboring countries like Sri Lanka and Bangladesh. Yes, we are positive, and last year in Hanover also we participated, where India was a partner country, and the Make in India concept was well appreciated there also. Even our management in Germany is confident of participating in Make in India.
Steel industry and its associated mining and metallurgy sectors have attracted a number of major investments in the recent past. The thriving automobile and railways sector has been contributing largely in the demand of this sector.
India is an amalgamation of various cultures and religions. The real beauty of our nation lies in the effortless blending of all the hues and colors which are part of our heritage. The Buddha Amarnath Yatra in Poonch is truly a symbol of secularism and communal harmony, where locals come out in large numbers to assist the pilgrims in every possible way. Let's take a look at this heartwarming story from the state of Jammu and Kashmir.
Buddha Amarnath Temple, dedicated to Hindu deity Shiva, is one of the oldest shrines of the Jammu region in Jammu and Kashmir. Every year, the pilgrims arrive from different parts of India to participate in this pilgrimage, considered to be holiest of all, in Mandi Hills of Poonch district. It is a popular belief among the Hindu devotees that their annual Amarnath Yatra is incomplete without visiting Baba Amarnath Shrine.
हम लोग बड़ी संख्या में पूरे भारत से इस यात्रा का इंतजार करते हैं और हर वर्ष यहाँ आने का प्रयास करते हैं। दो हमारे हेतु होते हैं, एक बाबा बूढ़ा अमरनाथ के दर्शन और दूसरे पुंछ के लोगों का हमारे साथ प्यार और स्नेह। इसलिए हर वर्ष जिस संख्या में आते हैं, संख्या तो बढ़ती जा रही है और मैं ये समझता हूँ कि जो ये प्यार और स्नेह पुंछ से मिलता है, जो हमको ये ऐसा की व्यवस्था मिलती है, यात्रा निरंतर बढ़ेगी।
Thousands of people visit the temple each year on the occasion of Raksha Bandhan with a lot of pomp and show. Locals play an important role in organizing the pilgrimage every year. People in the region respect national integrity and come forward to organize the annual pilgrimage in the most splendid and grand manner.
जो हमारे विभिन्न प्रांत हैं हमारे इस भारत देश के, वहाँ से अलग अलग जगहों से हमारे पास यहाँ पे यात्री आए हैं और लगभग 1100 के करीब जो हमारे यात्री हैं और जिनकी अगुवाई हमारे यहाँ पे डिफरेंट हमारे जो कार्यकर्ता हैं वो करके यहाँ पर पहुँचे हैं। और खुशी की बात ये है कि यहाँ पे एक अच्छे खुशगवार मौसम में और एक खुशगवार माहौल में यहाँ पर इनका स्वागत किया गया है और बिला लिहाज मजहब में यहाँ पर हर किस्म के, हर धर्म के लोग हैं। यहाँ पे हिंदू भी हैं, सिख भी हैं, मुस्लिम भी हैं, क्रिश्चियंस भी हैं, हर समुदाय के लोग यहाँ पे हैं। उन्होंने यहाँ पे सभी यात्रियों का यहाँ पे हार्दिक अभिनंदन किया है और हम आशा करते हैं कि कल यहाँ से यही यात्री जो है बुढ़ा अमरनाथ वहाँ पर दर्शन करने के बाद अपने सुख शांति से अपने अपने घरों को वापस चले जाए।
Poonch is a land of Sufis and saints, and the people of this district have always maintained the age-old tradition of communal harmony and brotherhood.
Moving on to the next segment, sports and culture are the best medium to strengthen ties between the two nations. Japan has laid emphasis on promoting sports and culture to attract tourists. Take a look. Guyen Kong Phong is a popular Vietnamese soccer player who plays for Japanese club Mito Hollyhock. In order to support Guyen, many Vietnamese tourists come to Japan. Watching the soccer games, sightseeing and shopping are also part of the tour. The number of Vietnamese tourists visiting Japan has been increasing in recent years.
茨城県とのその友好の関係も含めですね、インバウンドという部分、そして茨城空港を活用する部分、いろんな部分が我々水戸ホーリーホック J リーグがあって水戸ホーリーホックがあるからこそその活動が今回生まれたんだと思っています。
Based on founder Kazuo Inamori's personal experiences, recently 10 middle school students from Vietnam were invited to Kyoto.
韓国の文化や多様な価値観に直に触れることです。日本の技術や文化への理解を深め、将来世界のために貢献できる国際人となり活躍されることを祈っております。
Japan is also promoting its traditional food practice in foreign countries. Each year, chefs from all over the world participate in Washuko World Challenge to improve their skills. Its organizer, the Ministry of Agriculture, Forestry and Fisheries of Japan, intends to promote authentic Washuko.
Indian Pakistani food is amazing, I love it, but it's always nice to try something different, which is like washaku, which is very simple food. The taste is very natural.
Trying to create something original, you know, I mean, not really original because Chasuki is there, you know, it's just creating Japanese and local we're trying to put it together. Yeah.
The Washuko World Challenge has been established as the biggest authorized Japanese cuisine competition. The Washuko World is the password for foreign Washuko chefs to get significant success. Jaipur is the land of fairs and festivals. Tourists flock to Rajasthan not only to witness its rich heritage and architecture, but also to experience its culture. One such occasion is Teej, which is celebrated to welcome the much-awaited monsoons in the arid state. Let's take a look at this festival of swings being celebrated with much fanfare. Religious festivals and rituals bring out the true colors of our rich cultural heritage. The Hindu festival of Teej is marked by women fasting who pray to Lord Shiva and Goddess Parvati, seeking their blessings for marital bliss. Rajasthan Tourism organizes a Teej fair called Sawan Mela or Monsoon Festival every year to showcase the customs and traditions to the tourists who throng the state during this festive season. Teej marks the arrival of monsoon following the hot months of May and June. It has a broader significance in the arid state of Rajasthan that experiences excruciating summers.
काफ़ी समय से मनाई जा रही है। तीज पर्टिकुलर ये जो इस माह के अंदर मनाई जाती है, जो अपना आप में बरसात का आगाज होता है। इस समय हमारे किसान भाई भी खुश रहते हैं और हमारे हर देश के अंदर ये है कि एग्रीकल्चर बेस्ड कंट्री होने की वजह से कहीं ना कहीं जाके वर्षा का बहुत बड़ा योगदान होता है और शिव भगवान का इसमें बहुत बड़ा योगदान माना गया है। इसीलिए पार्वती जो है वो अपने आप में एक महिला है और महिलाएं इस दिन अपने आप को 16 श्रृंगार में सजाती हैं और वो भी इसके अंदर पूरी तरीके से इंजॉय करती है।
Fairs are held and processions are taken out from Tripolia Gate of the Pink City. The idol of goddess Teej, which is the incarnation of goddess Parvati, is decorated by the royal families of Jaipur for the fair. Convoys of beautified elephants, horses and camels are made to walk before goddess Teej's palanquin made of gold and silver.
तीज के बारे के अंदर राजस्थान के अंदर तीज का त्यौहार जो बड़ा अच्छा मानते हैं और इस दिन स्त्रियां जो है वो 16 श्रृंगार करती है और तीज माता को मानती है और अपने पति की लंबी आयु की कामना करती है और बड़ा अच्छा प्रोग्राम है, रंग बिरंगा। मैंने तो आज पहली बार देखा है इसको और पहली बार यहाँ आया हूँ मैं जयपुर के अंदर और बड़े विदेशी लोग भी बहुत आते हैं इसको। और अब जो पुराने सिस्टम जो वो तो खत्म हो रहा है, अब ये दोबारा देखो कितना मतलब जनता के अंदर जो है इसका देखने की इच्छा है और कितनी जागृति आई है।
Today we are in Jaipur enjoying ourselves from the Teej Festival and we're having a lovely day and yeah, thank you very much Jaipur and India.
Women celebrate this day to the fullest. They dress up as newlyweds in bright colors like red and green and wear colorful bangles and apply henna on their hand. Each day has its own significance during the Teej festival. On the first day, called Darkhane-Din, ladies enjoy a feast prepared by men. On the following day, fast is observed, while on the third day, prayers are offered to the deity. On the occasion, markets in Jaipur are stocked with trendiest women accessories and clothes. Most of the clothes display Leheria prints. These are the tie and dye prints in traditional designs that are always in high demand.
इसे जयपुर में फेमस है इसलिए और पहनते हैं सावन में, राखी में और सदाबहार है, एवरग्रीन है, इसलिए लहरिया बांधनी ऐसे मन को खुश और कलर भी इतने अच्छे हैं, ये सब ब्राइट कलर ही अच्छे लगते हैं इसमें, इसलिए पहनते हैं और लोगों को भी पसंद है।
जयपुर के पीपल, राजस्थान के पीपल जो लहरिया बहुत लाइक करते हैं वैसे तो,
ऑलवेज 12 महीने ही चलता लहरिया, बस 30 के महीने में सावन के महीने लहरिया ज़्यादा बिकता है और इसका फैशन कभी आउट नहीं होता। लहरिया जो है 30 के महीने में बहुत चलता है और इसका वर्क वगैरह पूरा हैंडमेड होता है, पूरा हाथ से बनता है, ये बांधनी हुआ लहरिया हुआ ये।
Sweet shops are also decked up with a variety of sweets, but Ghevar is the main sweet of this festival. This fluffy milk-based sweet is thick and soft in form. People mostly buy them to relish with their families and for gifting purposes.
क्या लड़के वाले जो सिंजारा बेचते हैं लड़की वाले के घर पे, तो लड़की तो रहती है अपने पियर के अंदर, उसके अंदर इसकी माँ इसकी चोटी बनाती है, इसको सजाती है, संवारती है, और जो लड़के वाले सिंजारा बेचते हैं इसके लिए साड़ी है, गहने हैं, वो इसको पहनाते हैं और इसका श्रृंगार करते हैं। ये एक वो है कि इसकी माँ अपनी बेटी को तैयार करती है, जो बेटे वाले क्या है सिंजारा तैयार।
Another common sight during the festival is swings. All over Rajasthan, decorated swings are put up. Women, both married and unmarried, love to take swings while singing traditional songs to celebrate the Sawan festival. That's all we have for you this week. Your comments and suggestions are important to us. Do give us your feedback at myindia@anin.com. Now signing off with a glimpse at the Brahmaputra Film Festival from Guwahati. Goodbye and take care.